tradition that Wilmington shares with the rest of the United States. I'm talking about America's pastime, baseball. And what better place to celebrate baseball than with the Wilmington Blue Rocks, right here on Judy Johnson Field at Frawley Stadium. Now, the story of baseball in Wilmington is very long and rich, so it's going to be a bit of a whirlwind tour. After all, baseball's been played in Wilmington for well over 150 years. So brace yourself, here we go. Take the field, let's play ball! Baseball in Wilmington go way back. In fact, local amateur teams in our city began playing in organized leagues in the 1860s. Wilmington's first professional team, the Quick Steps, was founded around 1883 when the Interstate Association of Professional Baseball Clubs was founded. During this time of American history, baseball became deeply rooted in popular culture. The population of industrialized cities such as Wilmington was growing rapidly, and baseball offered a welcome change from the drudgery of rural life. City residents also had much more free time on their hands due to rapid advances in technology, both at home and in the workplace. Much like today, baseball games in the late 1800s provided Wilmingtonians with an action-filled activity that could be enjoyed by the whole family. Droves of people would ride the streetcar to watch the Quick Steps and other teams battle it out on Wilmington Ball Grounds at the southwest corner of Front and Union Streets, home to all of Wilmington's professional ball teams until World War I. Organized baseball came to a virtual halt with the beginning of World War I in 1918 because the young male players were diverted into military service and for work in war industries, including shipbuilding along Wilmington's Christina riverfront. But even a world war couldn't keep baseball down for long. Many big league players found work in Wilmington's Harlan and Hollingsworth shipyard, and soon industrial teams formed their own league and played ball on the newly built Harlan Field, once located in South Wilmington Park just across the Market Street Bridge. In fact, Shoeless Joe Jackson of Black Sox infamy once played for a team known as the Wilmington Shipbuilders. Following World War I, the Industrial League players left Wilmington to return home. Around this time, the old Wilmington grounds at Front and Union, also known as Union Park, was replaced with residential development, today's Union Park Gardens neighborhood. Following the demise of the World War I-era Industrial Leagues, Harlan Field would continue for many years as the home of another great baseball tradition, Negro League ball. The golden era of Negro League baseball started in the 1920s and ended around 1950. It's interesting to note that baseball wasn't always segregated, and many mixed-race teams played together in the formative years of the sport. But all too soon, baseball gave way to societal pressures and prejudices, and blacks were forbidden to play in professional leagues. In response, the Negro Leagues were formed to prove that black players had just as much talent as white players. And the Negro Leagues were very successful. In fact, by the 1940s, Negro League baseball had become one of the largest and most successful black-owned business enterprises in America. The era of the Negro Leagues ended after Jackie Robinson broke the race barrier in 1947 when drafted by the Brooklyn Dodgers. No story on Wilmington baseball would be complete without paying tribute to one of the greatest players and coaches ever to grace the ballparks of Wilmington. Of course, I'm speaking of Judy Johnson, Hall of Famer and namesake of the playing field here at Frawley Stadium. Johnson's sharp fielding skills, consistently high batting average, and uncanny ability to produce runs made him the most valuable player in the lineup of the powerful Hilldale Club during the 1920s, and one of the greatest third basemen of his era, not just in Negro Leagues, but in all of baseball. Although Johnson retired 9 years before the integration of the major leagues, he was eventually able to apply his baseball knowledge in the majors, becoming the first African American to coach Major League Baseball in 1954, coaching for the Philadelphia Athletics and later the Phillies. Johnson was the first Delawarean inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York in 1975. At the same time the Negro Leagues were playing on Wilmington's Harlan Field, an all-new minor league stadium rose from the ground at the intersection of 30th Street and Governor Prince Boulevard, also known as Northeast Boulevard. This would be Wilmington Park, home of the original Wilmington Blue Rocks. Wilmington Park was one of the finest minor league facilities in the country. When it opened on May 1, 1940, over 7,000 fans crowded into the new stadium to watch the Blue Rocks play their first game in the new Interstate League, including baseball legend Connie Mack, the longest-serving manager in Major League Baseball history, as well as the longtime owner of the Philadelphia Athletics. Connie Mack and Delaware businessman and sports enthusiast R.R.M. Carpenter Sr. joined forces to bring professional baseball back to Wilmington. Carpenter built the stadium, and Connie Mack furnished the Blue Rocks team, which began as an affiliate of the Philadelphia Athletics. Mack owned the Blue Rocks for the first 4 years of their existence. Another Hall of Famer, Chief Bender, served as the Blue Rocks' first manager. In 1943, Carpenter took full ownership of the club. For their final 9 years, the original Blue Rocks were an affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies. Wilmington Park was also home to football, basketball, and boxing. But it was the Blue Rocks who drew the biggest crowds. This wild popularity wouldn't last. The Blue Rocks suffered from decreasing attendance due to several reasons, most namely the introduction of television and urban flight and suburbanization. The Blue Rocks disbanded in 1952, and Wilmington Park was demolished in the early 1960s. Just when it seemed that professional baseball was forever lost in Wilmington, Frawley Stadium opened its gates in 1993, serving as the catalyst for the amazing transformation of the Christina Riverfront. Prior to the arrival of the new Wilmington Blue Rocks, this area of the city was originally the home of Wilmington's once thriving shipbuilding industry. By the mid-1800s, Wilmington was producing more iron ships than the rest of the country combined. Unfortunately, the shipbuilding industry collapsed in the period following World War II, and the area remained an industrial wasteland for decades. All this changed beginning in the 1980s when a dedicated group of civic visionaries, led by Mayor Baker, who was city council president at the time, realized the potential of the Wilmington riverfront and set in motion a plan to redevelop the area. Frawley Stadium was one of the first steps taken in the effort to transform the Riverfront District into the thriving cultural, commercial, and residential destination we see today. The stadium is named after the late Daniel Frawley, mayor of Wilmington from 1985 to 1993. Mayor Frawley was another advocate of bringing professional baseball back to Wilmington. For more than 17 years, the 6,532-seat stadium has thrilled visitors of all ages as they continue to take part in the great American tradition of minor league baseball. Year after year, the Blue Rocks franchise tops the attendance records for the Carolina League. The stadium is also home to the 5,000-square-foot Delaware Sports Hall of Fame, where you can learn more about Judy Johnson as well as all the other great athletes featured inside, including Delaware's other baseball Hall of Famers, such as the famed pitcher Robin Roberts and the baseball umpire Bill McGowan. Well, we're almost out of time, but I couldn't leave without giving it the old college try one last time. You know, I used to be quite the ball player in my younger years. I was quite the slugger, and I had to be because I couldn't run very fast. Let's see if old Putt-Putt's got any power left. Well, you heard the umpire. I'm out of here, and so is Where in Wilmington. Join us next time as we continue to explore all of our city's rich history. For Wilmington in the middle of it all,
I'm Rich Neumann.